It's my job to introduce our MC, Richard Rossi. Let me say this. He's a great grandfather, great father, great husband. His family's right over here to the left tonight. Welcome you. I just want to say a couple of things. We'll be talking about him later on, but he's a good friend of mine. That's the most important thing. But I want to say this, because this relates to all of us here tonight. What's important to us? I think most of the people here, the playgrounds, the parks, the basketball courts, all the athletic fields, those are things important to us. Fresh Pond, the park areas, walking around Fresh, those are all important. And they wouldn't be as spectacular if it wasn't for Richard Rossi. And he's going to be our MC. I'm going to call him up now and give him a nice round of applause. And he's going to move this program along. We'll try to have this in an hour or so you can talk to your friends, family, and take some pictures, photos, and that kind of thing. Okay, so thank you. Thank you.
I want to say thank you so much to Joe, and I just want to correct one thing. I am a grandfather, not yet a great grandfather. Okay, just a few quick announcements. So, because we have so many athletes, coaches, and awardees, I think it's really important that to the best of our ability, we only speak for the limited amount of time. We suggested 90 seconds. I hope people really can embrace that. I think that's important. Our first awardee is an athlete, David Nato, Ridge Tech, 1957. Look at him, still in great shape, making his way up here after 1957. Okay. David Nato had an outstanding track and football career at Ridge Tech. He was the captain of the 1956 Ridge football team and the 1957 track team. In 55 and 56 in football as a halfback, he was named honorable mention for the Boston Globe All-Scholastic team. On the track in 57, Dave was crowned state champion in the 220-yard event. He also competed on 2 relay teams at the prestigious Penn Relays. Dave is a member of the Ridge Tech Alumni Hall of Fame, and in 1955, he was honored as the Man of the Year. I present you David Nato. Big round of applause.
First of all, I'd like to thank Steve Surratt for nominating me for the induction to the Cambridge Athletic Hall of Fame. I also want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for electing me. I want to thank my family and friends for being here and to enjoying this great honor with me. Congratulations to my fellow inductees. I had a great start in life by being brought up in Cambridge with the guidance of 2 wonderful parents. I had the good fortune of going to Ridge Technical High School. I'm sorry. It opened up a new world to me academically and socially. I was able to meet great guys from other parts of Cambridge who didn't look like me, different backgrounds and different color of skin. The friendships I made were special and lifelong. I had the opportunity to compete in sports, experience the thrill of being part of a team. I always treasure that camaraderie that we had. Lastly, I had a great coach and role model and a Mr. Tom Duffy, who was an outstanding gentleman, and I was very, very proud to say that I had the friendship of a Doc Linsky and a John Caulfield. Thank you so much.
hope everybody picked up on that theme. The reason why Cambridge is so great is because everybody here does stick together over the years. It's a very important thing. All right, next we're going to have to go a little out of order because there is another event. That other event is the Ringe Tech and CRLS basketball players and fans reunion being held tonight at the Cambridge Community Center on 5 Callender Street. So for those of you who want to attend that, who are involved in this award, we're going to try and get you up here a little bit early. So with that team, CRLS boys basketball team of 1979. You have to bear with me because I left my glasses home and borrowed these. I'm doing the best I can. CRLS basketball team 1979. Okay, if the team members can move to the left, we have all the team. We have Tommy Curtin, the trainer's wife here, representing Tommy, and we are pleased to have one of Cambridge's greatest, Coach Mike Jarvis. Mike Jarvis.
First of all, I want to thank all of the parents, the wives, the kids, and the greatest fans that any basketball team anywhere ever had, the Cambridge basketball fans and community. Thank you. We are the mighty warriors, don't ever forget that. I'm gonna have the two co-captains from this team tell you how much this means. But before I do, I want to acknowledge some folks that are waiting for us, and hopefully we won't see them too soon. And that would be Billy Ewing. That would be Al Coccoluto, Tom Curtin, our trainer. They're in the big Hall of Fame, and they're waiting for the rest of us. But what I would like to do right now is have Kevin Moore, and I know we only got a couple minutes, and Charlie Neal, our co-captains for this first great team, one of the greatest teams that ever played in this country, let alone this state. Okay, so Kevin Moore, Captain Moore.
I just want to say thank you to the community for finally putting us in. But the fans, like you said, the fans were unbelievable, and it was a beautiful experience my senior year in high school. It couldn't have been better, and I just really appreciate the support, and we did it. That's all I can say.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to the Hall of Fame committee for their very thoughtful work done to keep sports alive, in Cambridge with us. It's true that that sports is a lifetime experience. At least that's what it's been with me. lifetime of great memories and great friends as well. And I'm thankful that I happen to be in an excellent team filled with talented players, talented coaches, and we were in a city that is a truly exceptional city on a national level. Thank you very much. Okay.
Our next awardee, Sky Anderson, CRLS 2008. Sky Anderson. Sky Anderson was one of Cambridge's great women's soccer players. As a sophomore, she earned All-American status after leading her team to their second straight GBL League championship, which also included an undefeated team in 2004. Over her high school career, Sky scored a remarkable 70 goals and 32 assists. She was a GBL League MVP twice, was named All-Scholastic by the Boston Herald. Sky then earned a scholarship to University of Maryland, where she played Division I women's soccer for one of the top programs in the country. I present Sky Anderson.
Okay, so it's truly an honor to receive such a prestigious award from the Cambridge Athletic Hall of Fame Committee. First, I would like to congratulate my fellow Hall of Fame inductees. Congratulations, you guys. When I looked through the program tonight and saw all these inductees, I was wondering if the committee was right when they chose me. I'm humbled because there are so many deserving people who could easily be in my place. I remember being nervous and scared my first day of high school, wondering if I would ever make a smooth transition from private to public school. I knew immediately after the first day at CRLS that I never wanted to leave. I enjoyed everything about high school and embraced all my moments with my classmates and teachers. Some of my most memorable and challenging moments came through soccer, which helped to build my confidence, shape my character, and instill a drive and determination that carried me through college and now through my professional life. Not only were my teammates supportive, but the teachers, coaches, and other members of the Cambridge community, and somebody from New Bedford, were incredibly encouraging and involved with my growth as a student athlete. There was never a shadow of doubt that everyone would have my back even during challenging times. You are all the reason I'm here today. And I always look forward to coming back home and catching up with all my teachers and friends. Also, just to point out, I'm so happy you guys decided to do renovations after I graduated. The school's beautiful. I would also like to thank my parents for always believing in me and teaching me to believe in myself, to avoid complacency, and reach for the stars. Thank you again to the committee and the community for their recognition and continued support during my high school career and beyond. I accept this honor on behalf of all of you, and I hope you all know how truly grateful I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Next, Paul Ryder, as a special distinguished contributor to the program. For 34 years, from 1982 to 2016, Paul Ryder was Cambridge's longest-serving Director of Recreation. His contributions to the city and athletes of the Cambridge Public Schools are immeasurable. During his tenure in Cambridge, Paul was instrumental in the design, planning, and implementation of many multi-purpose, award-winning high school athletic facilities. Paul's work with the athletes of Cambridge extended beyond his position and duties as Recreation Director. He sponsored, initiated, and formulated many projects tied into the athletes of Cambridge, among them the annual City Run and Special Olympics. And Paul was instrumental in raising a significant amount of money that contributed to those programs. That tradition continues. I had the pleasure of working with Paul for many years and got to know his great family as well. Paul Ryder.
honor and to be able to share it with my family, especially my brother Alan and my father-in-law John. My friends, my past and present recipients, and all of you here tonight. When I was notified that I was going to be inducted into the Cambridge Athletic Hall of Fame as a special contributor, my wife Sheila asked me, what is the theme of my remarks? And I reflected back to my years of public service. I saw myself in the beginning as a skinny young kid from Rhode Island who spoke funny. Well, I am no longer skinny nor young, but I still have a unique accent. But I remember it was the beginning of an over 37 love affair with the city of Cambridge and its illustrious Cambridge Windsor Latin High School. I must confess, however, that the love affair was a bit rocky in the beginning. As the recreation department and the athletic department, they always spoke to each other. But I realized quickly that for me to succeed, I needed to develop a strong, trusting relationship and build a new team with the CRLS athletic directors. All 15 of them over the years. Just think about the magnitude of that for a moment. 15 athletic directors, either the Hall of Fame or Devil Manor is what I should be in. But also the coaches, the school leaderships, and the staff in the city. And I did, through the guidance and mentoring and leadership of my fellow honoree, Richard Rossi. Working as a team, we have built some of the most magnificent athletic facilities in the region. Jointly shared, maintained, and managed. Ridgefield, Russell Field, the Russell Youth Center, home of the championship teams of the Cambridge program and Special Olympics athletes. The beautiful Danny Park in St. Peter's Field, and the envy of most small colleges, the War Memorial Recreation Center, and my good friend, the Al Cockaloon Gymnasium. In addition, working closely with the Friends of Cambridge Athletics, we entered into a partnership with funds raised from the very successful city-run road race would go directly to athletes of CRLS, raising hundreds of thousands of dollars over a 30-year period. I also like to take a moment to send my thanks and appreciation for the hard work of the Hall of Fame Committee. Through my involvement in the past in this committee, I continue to admire your dedication and willingness to serve to make this event tonight a success, and would like to congratulate you on a job well done. August 19th, 1978, the day I married my beautiful wife. November 1st, 1982, the day I started working for the city of Cambridge. August 2nd, 1989, and February 23rd, 1992, the days my children, Alice and John, arrived home. And tonight, May 18th, 2019, the evening I'm being inducted to the Cambridge Athletic Hall of Fame, are the most memorable days of my life. I am so humbled and honored to be here with all of you tonight, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Okay. Moving right along, and I'm going to encourage the speakers to make sure they adjust the microphone to their height so you can be heard across the room. If you didn't hear Paul Ryder, we will have that 90-minute video ready for you. All right. Next, the 1976 Cambridge High and Latin girls volleyball team. 1976 CHLS girls volleyball team was led by coaches Cheryl Howe and Lorraine Canty. This pioneering group won the first volleyball girls state championship title in Mass history. Their victory brought so much pride and glory to the city of Cambridge. It was a true team in every way, exceeding all expectations. Having finished league play 10-2, they stunned Suburban League champions Waltham, and no surprise to me, in the semifinals, and shocked perennial Eastern Mass powerhouse Boston Latin to win the first state crown by a girls team in Cambridge High and Latin history. When I was in high school, they were taller than most of the boys. Coach, please come forward.
Okay. What I want to thank you all about is this was an incredible opportunity to reflect and go back down memory lane to a long time ago. Volleyball at that time was nothing as it is today, and certainly girls and women's sports is nothing as it is today. First, I want to acknowledge the individual players. Each player contributed something to the team. Kay Rossi, the setter, brought her intellect and ideas. Terry Shingler added her athletic skills and great heart. Therese Villa brought competitive drive, quickness, and endurance. Eileen Crane had height at the net, humor, and team spirit. Andrea McDonald was a consistent and solid defensive player. Debbie Fodderingham had jumping ability, strength, and power. Janet Belosky had determination and energy. Val Harris was steady and patient. Kathy Chitowski had quiet strength. Patty Shinklin was extremely agile and a quick learner. Lori Cruikshank had a positive attitude and calming spirit. Kelly Peeney and Cheryl Pierce moved up from the junior varsity and added the support we needed. Dean Whittington, our team manager, handled the details and kept us organized. We also had a small cadre of local spectator parents and friends who cheered us on. It was a season that everything came together. The timing, everything just sort of worked. We hadn't been a team very long. We didn't even have uniforms until 2 years before this year. And when I was doing research, in the 1974 yearbook, there were no pictures of girls' sports teams. It was only boys' teams. So things really have changed. This team was under the radar. We had our regular fans. We went to the state tournament in Brockton. We only had a handful of people who saw us play that night when we won. And when we drove back in a one bus, we didn't have people with us with cars. We drove through Harvard Square and the bus driver honked the horn. But it didn't matter. So I guess I want to say, it's wonderful what's happened with girls and women's sports since then. It's incredible. On the other hand, here's a group of young women who worked hard, were extremely talented, and they just came out wonderfully. And I really want to make sure that you understand this is an important celebration for this group, because it means a lot to be recognized and acknowledged after all these years. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, ladies. Congratulations. Great job. Okay. Moving along. Our next award is category of coach. Paul Sullivan, coach, CHLS and CRLS. Paul Sullivan. Okay. I want to hear this. This is great stuff. Paul Sullivan was a 1961 graduate of CHLS. Paul led it in 3 sports. This led him to a rewarding and fulfilling coaching career in Cambridge. Paul coached baseball and football in Cambridge for over 30 years at the high schools. He was head baseball coach at CRLS for 12 years. Paul was a respected coach and mentor for all Cambridge athletes. He went beyond what traditional coaches are expected to do when it comes to coaching high school athletes. His focus on academics, along with his coaching abilities, was a key factor in his success. I've known Paul Sullivan almost my whole life. Great family guy, loves Cambridge athletics and Cambridge athletes. Paul Sullivan.
Has a nice ring to it. Hall of Fame coach. It's something that I guess we all would strive for. Being a coach has always been my goal. Being here is just frosting on the cake, as they say. I want to thank the board for finding time to put a guy into the Hall of Fame. I've been out of teaching for a while, but it's just great to be here. It's a long road to get to this Hall of Fame, and we don't travel it alone. I have a number of people that I want to thank. I first of all want to thank my wife and my family who have constantly supported me. My son Darren and my daughter Shannon, they were always at home. Whether it was good news or bad news, they were there, and it was just a thrill being able to fall back on their support, especially my wife, who was just a tower of strength. Also, I have to have a little shout out here to a couple of classmates. Class of 1961 is hiding up there from Cambridge Latin, probably the greatest class in the history of Cambridge Latin. So shout out to the Cambridge Latin class of 1961. I would just quickly like to go through people who are mentors to me. The reason I'm here is what they had done. And I'll just throw out a couple of names. Ted Duffy, who was a baseball coach at Cambridge Latin. Billy Timmons' father-in-law. John Caulfield, whose name was mentioned. John Lefty Caulfield. James Sonny Foley. I played ball for all those guys. These guys are absolute legends. Absolute legends. And I was very grateful to have played ball for them. Jack Noble, who just passed away. Sonny Foley was a treat. He never swore. He was a kind man, never swore. He always called you a mutt. When he called you a mutt, you know you did something wrong, and he never swore at you. It's something I picked up when I was like 15 years old, playing ball for him. People who give you breaks, you don't get here unless someone opens a door for you, unless someone gives you a break, unless someone has faith in you. Number one was Jim Cody. Jim Cody was in charge of Donnelly Field when I was a kid growing up. If you did something wrong, he'd give you a backhand. I never forgot that. But I was one of the first people he hired when he went on as coach at Cambridge Latin. He later went on to become the head of the law school. Jimmy Cody. Mike Weaver. Mike Weaver. Brilliant man. We were the first team in Eastern Mass, probably used the 4-4 defense. We just stopped people. At one point, we were ranked in the top 10 in Eastern Massachusetts. Check it out. We were like 4-0 at the time. Michael Weaver, genius, absolute genius. So legendary, and I work for him, you all know him, George Greenwich. What else can I say? I worked with George at school as well as just the start. Absolute legend. For baseball, I got a break from a guy by the name of Bill Fuginetti. Billy Fugi. I think Joe Pags may have called him up and said, Fuji, hire the Sullivan kid, it'll strengthen the baseball program. I don't know about it. It was a good one. Fuji was just extra good to us. My own assistants, starting with Mr. Baseball, George Alexander, Raul Adams. A friend of mine's up there tonight is Paul Abreu, helped us in many batting clinics. Marco Giampa from East Cambridge, he was president of the league. And finally, when I left Cambridge, I was fortunate enough to be hired at a place called Harvard University. A guy by the name of Joe Walsh hired me. First day of practice, I brought a bag full of baseballs. Joe said to me, Sully, what are you doing? And I said, I'm returning baseballs that I borrowed 45 years ago. Well, here's how we borrowed the balls. I would go up to Harvard Stadium with 3 or 4 of my friends. Now, I told this to the Harvard baseball team my first day getting to college. I sat them down on the mound, and we sat around and we gathered and talked, and Joe asked again, why the bat? This is what we would do. They would have batting practice. Their baseball stadium is behind Harvard Stadium, which is pretty big. In those days, they didn't have what we call the turtle. Today, you have a 3-sided netted thing on wheels. You slide it into the backstop area. The balls would come over the backstop. We were smart kids from East Cambridge. We used common sense. There were a lot of smart kids with perfect scores on the SATs playing baseball for Harvard. We may have been a little bit smarter. Here's what happened. Balls would go over the backstop. We would grab it and immediately return it. Another one would go over, grab it, immediately return it. Guess what? They got a little bit lazy. So therefore, ball number 4, 5, or 6, I was throwing it to a friend of mine 50 yards down towards North Harvard Street. And he was throwing another 50 yards to someone else down on North Harvard Street. And so what happened was, after we had a bag of balls filled up, the then coach at Harvard, a guy by the name of Loyal Park, came racing out of the dugout. He asked me the wrong question. His question was, hey kid, what are you doing? You know darn right well what I'm doing. I'm taking your baseballs. Anyway, he chased us down. But I can always say this, it was a great thing coming from the city of Cambridge, going to coaching ball at Harvard. We had a lot of fun there, had a lot of fun in Cambridge. I hope I didn't miss anyone, but it has been really an honor to have worked with such great people. I was lucky. As I read those lists, those names, just all legends. I want to thank you very much. I want to leave you with a quote. I know I've gone overboard, but maybe I am still a teacher. I'm still a teacher. Still a teacher. Okay? They say that a good coach can change the outcome of a game. But remember, a great coach can change the outcome of many lives. Thank you very much.
Not only did Paul deliver a great speech, but he has now nipped Paul Ryder. He's in first place. Our next awardee, Richard Kelly, CRLS, 1984. Rich Kelly was among the greatest middle distance runners in Cambridge Track's long distinguished history. His multiple awards season, his senior year, culminated in his being selected as Boston Globe Athlete of the Year in outdoor track. In '84, Rich anchored the CRLS 4x800 meter relay. The winning time in that relay was 7 minutes and 53 seconds. It broke both the mass and the Windham records. This record held for 32 years. As a major highlight of his career, it was an indoor track when he was crowned the Windham High School champion in the 800 meters. Richard Kelly.
So walking up here was almost as frightening as walking up the starting line sometimes. Congratulations to my fellow inductees. I'd like to thank all those involved in my nomination. It's both an honor and a privilege to be up here tonight as part of an elite group of Cambridge Hall of Famers. I would like to thank Coach McCarthy for his wisdom, guidance, and support on and off the track, which helped me become a better person and pursue a major scholarship. Thanking Coach McGuire for giving me my start by recognizing me at the Presidential Fitness Fair after winning the 600-yard dash. I'll never forget when you first approached me and asked me if I was all right. I was wheezing. My response was yes, I have asthma. His response was no, you're on a champ. I want to thank my teammates for their individual support, pushing me to be a better person. Looking back, these are some of the best years of my life and I'm proud of my accomplishments. Thank you to my parents, grandparents, my biggest fans, for making countless sacrifices to pursue running, and also for keeping scrapbooks so I could later show my son Dylan, who's here with me tonight, here with me tonight, sharing in this special honor, along with his lovely fiancée, Emily. Finally, thank you to my partner, my best friend, Valerie, for supporting me in high school and college, and right up to help me write this speech. Who's better than you, Val? Nobody.
Our next awardee, Benjamin Brathwaite, Rinch Tech, 1964.
Everyone make sure you get my good.
Unfortunately, this community lost Benjamin, and representing Benjamin is his wife, Deborah Brathwaite. Ben Brathwaite was the undisputed leader of the great Rinch Tech football and basketball teams of 63 and 64. Ben was a hard-running fullback and ferocious middle linebacker. As captain of the 64 football team, he was voted to the All-Cambridge team in both his junior and senior years. In basketball, Ben was the sixth man on the 63 Suburban League and Tech Tourney championship teams, and top rebounder and scorer on the 64 Suburban League and Tech Tourney teams. He also was named to All Suburban League team and was honored as an MVP. Benjamin Brathwaite, I graduated from the Wellington School from him, the old Wellington School. He had abilities far beyond other kids in that whole district. He was an amazing, amazing athlete, one of the best classmates you could have, funniest guys, and together I think we were thrown out of class at least 300 times.
Just want to say thank you to the committee for electing my father into the Hall of Fame, and thank you to the Cambridge community for blessing all of us. Thank you.
want to accept this award for my husband, Benjamin Brathwaite. Thank you so much.
It's my honor to introduce Richard Rossi for the Special Distinguished Award. Rich Rossi served as both Deputy City Manager and then City Manager in Cambridge from 1981 to 2016. A 1964 graduate of Cambridge High in Latin, Rich never forgot his roots as an athlete growing up in Cambridge. Therefore, he was unwavering and determined in his desire to make the athletic facilities for the high school and the citizens of Cambridge the best in the state, and they are. When I was a young kid, we used to go down to Grove Street in Belmont to play baseball. That didn't happen after Richie came into office and service. The award-winning athletic department complex at Danny Park proudly exhibits his contributions to CRLS athletes. Rich has also played a key role in the overwhelming success of the Hall of Fame, serving as our Master of Ceremonies for the last 4 Hall of Fame events. Richard Rossi.
Thank you. As a strong advocate of the talk briefly rule, I will try and be brief. I know we have a lot of people to get through. I do want to thank my family, my wife Jane, my children, Allison, Jenny, and Richie, their spouses, my grandchildren. They made me promise that they could wave Charlie, Addie, Jane, Brianna, and Juliet. Thank you for coming. I want to thank the Hall of Fame members for this honor. I really appreciate it. What this means to me is that growing up in Cambridge, we all felt the traditions and the memories of using the facilities in Cambridge and playing in great places. Sadly, those places deteriorated to a point where Cambridge was not equal to what these other communities were giving us and we were seeing as facilities. I was lucky in becoming the deputy city manager of this city. It allowed me to think about how could I give back to this community? What could I do to really put the life back into Cambridge High and Latin and Ridge Tech? And what I was able to do was to create a plan. I want to thank former city manager Bob Healy, who gave me the opportunity to create a plan to rebuild all these facilities and create new ones. I began by conducting a public process. I learned quite early in the process this was not going to be done by one person. We needed to assemble a great team. So I want to give my heartfelt thanks to all the city and school officials, to the elected officials who always supported us, to the city manager at that time, to all the staff from the city departments that worked with us. I want to thank the parents, the coaches, the players, and the advocates for athletics who really came aboard. That was a tough team to beat. So when we went into a community, we weren't going to be told no. We were going to build these facilities and build them the right way to give the honor to the students, athletes, and coaches of the high school that they deserve. So I just want to say that this was all for me a great, great opportunity, and I'm so happy I was able to be a big part of it. It means so much to me because the result of all this is that I think since we built those facilities, Cambridge has dominated in all the leagues they played in all the sports, which means we created for all the kids a great opportunity. That's my thanks. Thank you. We've heard a lot of great stories about John Caulfield. I want to end with one that means a lot to me. John Caulfield came into the city manager's office to meet with Bob Healy. He saw me, he pointed to me and said, "Bob Healy, you have working for you a famous athlete in Cambridge. Do you know when I was JV coach, he broke up a no-hitter?" Bob looked at me and Caulfield said, "Yeah, Floyd Kalman was pitching a no-hitter for Latin. He misjudged the ball in right field and they gave him a base hit." Okay, next. Phil Hamilton. athletes. As a co-captain of the Suburban League and State Class Championship track team, Phil was a talented performer in the javelin and shot put. In football, he was highly skilled physical defensive end and offensive tackle for the great Ringe football teams of the mid-70s. An MVP of Ringe's football team, he was named to the Globe All-Scholastic football team, and he also was selected to the prestigious Harry Guinness All-Star Classic. Phil capped his outstanding career at the University of New Hampshire, where he was a starter at left tackle for 3 years. Phil.
I was a lineman in college, believe it or not. I was running down Revere Beach today and thinking about how lucky I am to be here tonight and the things that I've gotten out of Ridge Tech. I was lucky to be born in Cambridge. I was lucky to be born to the Hamilton and Conroy family. And I was very lucky to be the first of my family, cousins, uncles, aunts, to go to a public school. Everyone had gone to St. John's and North James Catholic, and I ended up at Ridge Tech. So thankful for that. When I got to Ridge Tech, I was coached in track and in football by Hall of Fame coaches. In track, I had great coach Frank McCarthy, and I had Bob Channing also. They took a skinny, 135-pound freshman and turned me into a man in 4 years. Many days of weight training, running, lifting, year after year. When I got to Coach Greenwich on the football field, I was bigger, faster, and stronger. By my senior year, I was 195, 200-pound kid. In football, I had what I think is the greatest football coach in the history of the USA, George Greenwich. On his staff, I had a great offensive line coach who nominated me, Bill Timmons. Thank you. Thank you to the committee for voting me into the Hall of Fame. My defensive end coach was Pepe Smith from Watertown and Syracuse University. And taught me things on how to play that position, how to play it right, how to play it tough, that I can't even repeat there, but he was really something. I had my old gym teacher and 2-year assistant coach for me, the great Mike Jarvis, another Hall of Famer. Our freshman team, we started with 50, we ended up with about 35, we were undefeated. We didn't allow 1 point to the very last game of the season against Cambridge High Latin. We also had many good athletes on both teams. I'd like to say thank you to my fellow seniors, Mike Key, Roberto Cooper, outstanding athletes. Too many to mention. In football, Pat Cavello, John Casello, Wayne Collins, and Roger Reddick, playing in that great team in the sky. My friends, I miss them, great players. But both teams had something in common. We were tough, we were physical, we wanted to compete, and that we did. I want to thank my lovely wife. I'll get in trouble for not mentioning her, Marie. My 2 sons, Mark and Philip, who are here. 3 of the best things that ever happened to me. And last but not least, my grandparents, who really looked out for me after I lost my mother as a sophomore. They cooked for me, clothed me for 3 years, and even after that in college, and I'm really thankful for that. Thank you to everyone. It's an honor to be here. And congratulations to the Yellow Hall of Fame.
Okay. Next, John Purcell, CHLS, 1962. John Purcell was an exceptional, well-rounded, and highly motivated athlete who starred in baseball, hockey, and football at CHLS. His passion for sports allowed him to achieve success in all of these sports while earning him all-league and all-state honors. John still holds the record for the longest punt return in Cambridge sports history, a return of 108 yards. He continued his magnificent athletic career at Northeastern. John was also a U.S. Army veteran with the 101st Air Command Group. And if John had played golf for Joe Bagg, they would have won a few more championships. Let me say, raise your hand if you were there and saw Johnny Purcell do the 108 yards. Must have been a crowd of 30,000 that day. All right, John Purcell. I'd just like to thank the and the coaches that are so dedicated to us, our teammates. You know, they're the real heroes. So, but most of all, I'd like to thank my parents and my beautiful. Can everybody hear me? Okay. I'll speak louder. Thank you. All right. Yes, I'd just like to thank the committee for this great honor, and then my teammates, just the real heroes behind all of this, and our coaches who are so dedicated to us young athletes. But most of all, I'd really like to thank my parents and my beautiful family for their love and support. I've been asked many times, where'd you grow up? And my answer is always the same. And I proudly say, I'm just a kid from Cambridge. Thank you, and have a good evening. All right, this will be a big one. The 1963 Ridge Tech Championship team is among the greatest teams in Cambridge sports history, led by the H-Bombs, Billy Hewitt and Lou Bubbles Herbert. The team stormed through the Suburban League with a 19-1 record. In winning the renowned Tech tourney, they dispatched a great field, including perennial powerhouse Durfee. Team members were the captains of the Team members were the captains of the 8 teams, were awarded numerous all-league, all-scholastic, and MVP awards. Cambridge may love their sports teams and excel at some, but its fame and passion comes from the great basketball teams, including this sublime all-around one from 1961. So for all of us who were around, who grew up in those days, this really changed the face of sports in Cambridge. And that takes nothing away from all the other great teams and great athletes. It kind of put Cambridge on the map, and I think we're all grateful for that. The 1963 team, Eddie Harris, please.
It's never too late. Well, it should never be late. It's been 55 years. And I want to take this opportunity at this time to have a moment of silence for a starting team, or the members of that team who are not here with us today. Lou Bubbles Herbert, Bob Ward, Tom Samalas, Wally Thurston, and Ben Brathwaite. I want to pass the ball to them because they'll have the ball when we get there where they're at now. Amen. As the 1950s melded into the 60s, Ridge Tech sports teams became perpetual masters and more with the sons of black community. From the coast, the port, East Cambridge, North Cambridge, familiar names started to appear. The Dottons, the Steads, the Greenwich, Harris, Wards, Milton, Jenkins, Washington, Bridgman, Griffith, Singleton, all started in football, basketball, and track teams. With great pride in championships back in Cambridge, they were always the Warriors. Once a Warrior, always a Warrior. Yeah. As Ridge's great tradition was gaining momentum, one of the greatest classes of athletes emerged in 1964 with the football and basketball teams gaining the most attention. The names of Hewitt, Flagg, and Herbert are familiar. But the undisputed leader of that group
was another prominent Ringe family named Brathwaite, Benji, co-captain with Aubrey Flagg and the football team. He was a hard-running fullback and linebacker, as you already heard. He was a high-scoring forward on the basketball team, and he won the MVP of the Suburban League in 1964. According to David P. Greenwich, captain of the 1964 football team, and a teammate of football and basketball player Benji, was a leader in both football and basketball. His toughness carried to everyone. Quitting was not in his vocabulary. He played every game as if it was his last. Much respected, he showed all of us how to be leaders and captains. Winning was in Benji's blood. At an early age, it's already stated. He was East Cambridge Little League team, city champion, one of the best players for the Blues Grammar School, represented the Wellington School. Entering Ringe, his leadership abilities became evident as he was elected to the student council and captain of the freshman football team, showing himself as a natural-born leader. He was brought up to the varsity by his junior year and was a leader, co-captain behind Fred Lewis and Jim Griffin as a starter on both offense, fullback, defense, and linebacker. It was a foregone conclusion that he would be a captain his senior year. His co-captain Aubrey Flagg said to him, "You could not overestimate his toughness. We were a passing team, but he always wanted the ball. And when we got to the goal line, he always got it in. He was relentless." What Paul Singleton, another one of his teammates and captain of the 65 basketball team on his book about Benji, was his tenaciousness and his never die attitude. He was the epitome of a captain and what a captain should be. In the famous goal line stand against Newton South, Benji lost his helmet and still made the tackle to save the game. In basketball, he had more fight in him at 5'10" than another player of 6'10". He led the team in offensive rebounds. Talk about Charles Barkley or Adrian Dantley, we had Benji Brathwaite. The ultimate test of a tough player, everybody looked up to Benji. Benji was a winner of the Cambridge Chronicles Scholar Athlete of the Month Award and a member of the Cambridge Chronicles All-Football team his junior and senior years. He was a winner of Ringe's prestigious Walter Brennan Award for football and the Thomas Murphy Award given annually to the basketball team's best foul shooter. In addition, Benji was elected to the student council. His football teams compiled an 11-3-1 record, playing a tough independent scholastic against powerhouse teams of the day, including Bedford, Malden, Worcester North. The 1962 team broke #1 Boston English's 19-game winning streak in a thrilling game at Russell Field. Along with his teammate Lou Herbert, he is ranked in the top 3 in scoring behind #1 Ralph Gilwood and #2 Jimmy Griffin. His 1963 basketball team went on to went 19-1 both years. 19-1 both years. Won the Suburban League titles, and in his junior year was converted, the coveted Tech Turner. In addition to being the team's leading offensive player and MVP for the Suburban League in 1964, it also led to scoring with a 19-point game average. He later went on to display and play the Jack Crumb semi-pro all-black Boston Bruins basketball team, along with Johnny Semper, Ringe greats like Charlie and Larry Stead and Ed Washington. It has long been my belief that because of the racial climate of the early 60s, black athletes and Ringe athletes in particular were denied athletic scholarships to go to college. It is hard to believe that Bill Hewitt, who later became the #1 draft pick for the LA Lakers, and Lou Herbert, an all-state receiver in football, state champ in the 220-yard dash, and star running back William Buzzy Mitchell and Jimmy Griffin were not worthy of athletic scholarships from any school in New England or let alone in the country. The aforementioned Flagg, who lived in Tennessee since he left Cambridge in '64, and has been an ardent observer of football in the South, says, that Dennis Bull Darton had the capability to play in the Southeast Conference. It wasn't until 1967 when Syracuse University offered a scholarship to the great Alan Newton, later known as Abdul Ali Muhammad, that a Ringe man got his fair due. Benji Brathwaite was another such athlete, and if he played at a much later era, he would have been the type of player that any college student could have used and would surely have offered him a scholarship to bring his game to the next level. Bula Bula. Let's go. It's our war cry. Our Prince Tech High. We will down them and we will crown them until they holler Bula Bula.
Next athlete, Terry Wright, not here tonight due to an unexpected death in her family. Accepting for Terry is Hall of Famer Frances Jarvis, who is representing the Cambridge women's track. Terry Wright certainly belongs in the upper echelon of the great athletes of Cambridge girls track. In her senior year in indoor track, Terry was crowned GBL state class and all-state hurdles champion. She was a multiple GBL All-Star and a Boston Globe and Herald All-Scholastic. Terry holds 2 all-time Cambridge girls records in the 50-yard hurdles and the 55-meter hurdles. Her accomplishments on the track culminated in her breaking that all-time Mass state record in the 55-meter hurdles. Terry is currently a major serving in the U.S. Army. The great athlete Frances Jarvis.
Thank you. Terry Wright is unable to be here tonight, but she sends along her gratitude and appreciation for the Athletic Hall of Fame Committee and Coach Frank McCarthy for giving her this honor. And thank you all. Have a good night.
Great job, Frances. Okay, I think it's really important. We want to get to the last third here. People have been here a long time. We really all need to give everybody the same courtesy so that all awardees are afforded the same opportunity. Coach Bob McGuire, for over 20 years, Bob McGuire had remarkable success coaching cross country and track at CRLS. His teams won over 30 league, class, and all-state championships. Many of his athletes were Globe and Herald All-Scholastic and Globe Athletes of the Year. Of Bob's many coaching attributes, he was legendary for his big meet preparations and his gift as a motivator of athletes. Bob was honored as a Boston Globe Coach of the Year 4 times. In '98, Bob was inducted into the Mass State Track Coaches Hall of Fame. Bob McGuire.
For coming. I want to thank, I really appreciate the people, the inductees this year. Congratulations to all of them. Most of my talk is all about thank yous. I couldn't have done anything at Cambridge Ringe and Latin without Frank McCarthy and John Silva. It never would have happened without them. I want to thank all of the parents of all the kids I coach for supporting them, listening to some of the stories, and being the biggest fans we ever had. And then, lastly, of course, I want to thank the athletes. At Cambridge, everybody thought we had a supremely talented group of individuals, which we did. We had many state champions. And I think if you took all those state champions and then matched them with the number of overachievers that we had at Cambridge Ringe and Latin, kids that wanted to be bigger than an individual and be on a team, bigger than themselves. Once you put those kids in there with the state champion individuals, you mix that up, you work them real hard, next thing you know, you win a lot of championships. It's pretty easy. So it made my job really easy. It's just to coach those kids. They worked hard. I want to thank them. Without them, I'd never even be up there. So it's a team thing. Once you're in Cambridge track, you're in it for life. It's a family. And everybody comes back, all the alumni, we still see each other, like a lot of things in Cambridge. But this truly Cambridge track is a family. There's one for all and all for one, all the time. Thank you.
Our next awardee, athlete Keith Barnett. Keith Barnett was a stellar three-sport athlete in football, basketball, and track. He captained both the football and basketball teams his senior year. His football career stands out not only through high school but also at Boston College, where he led the country in scoring in 1974. Keith compiled a BC school record of 22 touchdowns. After college, he was drafted in the 5th round by the Minnesota Vikings in the NFL and played 1 year in professional Canadian football. A great Cambridge athlete, Keith Barnett. Keith.
Who put up with me during this whole entire thing. But then I want to get to my wonderful family who is back there, my daughters and their boys, and then I come around to thanking my teammates that are here today and who were responsible for this great opportunity, the great opportunities I had later on. And so I thank you, Bob Kelso, Paul McElhenney, and all you guys. I just thank you all. And then I have to say that we actually have our whole cheering line here, I think. I want to thank them for being dear friends of mine over a long, long period of time. And then I'll come back to my family and my dearest wife, Margaret, and then Michael Pridham and his wife Betsy, who are dear friends to this day, and to my wonderful cousins over there, who are just precious to me and closer to sisters than they are to cousins. And then finally, I'd like to say, hey Robert, stand up. You're about as handsome as a young man. And his mom, Sarita, who is my niece. Just wonderful, wonderful folks. And last but not least, and most importantly, I have my dear friend from Boston College who was the greatest football player at Boston College during my time, and Mike Esposito. And I hope I said thank you to everybody, and of course to the Hall of Fame committee for this honor, which kind of caught me by surprise, and I was really, really proud of this more than just about anything else I've received. So thank you guys.
Way to go, King!
Burnett, one of the greatest of the greats. Okay. Our next athlete, Jeremy Collins, CRLS, 1996. Unfortunately, Jeremy could not be here this evening. Accepting for Jeremy is his wife, Val. Val? Jeremy Collins had an outstanding and accomplished athletic career at CRLS. A GBL All-Star in basketball, Jeremy's major accomplishments, however, were in track and field. A multi-event performer, excuse me, please. A multi-event performer, Jeremy competed in the sprints, long jump, and relays. He won an astounding 17 championships on the track and field while at CRLS. Jeremy also won multiple GBL All-Star Awards and was honored as the Globe and Herald All-Scholastic. Jeremy went on to a terrific track career at the University of Rhode Island. Val, please step.
Thank you. Unfortunately, Jeremy couldn't be here tonight, so I'm accepting this on his behalf. He would like to thank his teammates, his coaches, Coach McGuire, Prince, Reed, and especially McCarthy. Without your knowledge and guidance, none of this would have been possible. Through the training and through the great coaching that he had, he's been able to take those lessons as a Cambridge firefighter and apply them with his children and coaching them and help him be a better person. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Val, on behalf of Jeremy. Next, another Cambridge Hall of Famer, Lloyd Merriman, Rich Lloyd was a 3-year varsity starter on the Ridge basketball team. He led his team to the renowned Tech tourney each of his varsity years. He was named to numerous Suburban League All-Star teams, MVP in 1969, was named to the Globe and Herald All-Scholastic teams his senior year. Lloyd was also a member of the Sunkist High School All-American team. He played his college basketball at Tyler Community College in Tyler, Texas, and St. Augustine's at the University of Raleigh, North Carolina. And for people who really know him, one of the great City League basketball referees of all time.
It's getting a little late. I'm going to run through this as quick as I can because I'm getting sleepy, all right? Bedtime. Okay, I want to thank all the other teams that were graduated tonight, all the different sports areas. I got to take my glasses off because I can't see anybody. Okay. I want to thank my family and friends that came along, and I have a couple of special thanks I'm going to run right through. So here it goes. I'd like to thank the committee for your vote and your support, and finally, thank you very much. Personal thanks to Ed Culhane, also Mr. Callahan, Charlie Stead, Larry Stead, Eddie Washington, and Mike Jarvis for teaching me the skills of playing inside the paint and the knowledge of the game, and taking me under their wings at a young age. I want to thank my aunt Elfrida Harris, who was here, who introduced me to the BNBL over in Roxbury back in '68 and '69 in the Washington Street Ballpark, where I met and played against some of Boston's greats. Namely, if you remember this one, Owen Wells, okay? All right? Especially to all my teammates. Two are looking down on this event right now. Warren Collins and Dennis Edwards, okay? I want to thank two other gentlemen who made everything possible. We drew the crowds, and it was a hell of a thing to see. I want to thank Gene Walcott and Kevin Clark. Okay. epic battles we had on the court, and most of all, we were true friends off the court, okay? I left for TJC in 1969, but I didn't play my first year. That was a crushing blow to me, but I almost left TJC. Me and 4 other players suffered the same fate, but Coach Wagstaff, as we affectionately called him, Daddy Wag, okay? He sat us down and told us that we can keep our scholarship, providing that we went to class and came to practice. And I think I said this before Allen Iverson said it. Practice. Practice. He's talking about practice. Okay. We decided to stay, and we came back. And when we returned the following year, it was the best move and the best decision that I ever made. One of the guys I played with, Jimmy Blacklock, he is the coach of the Harlem Globetrotters. I played with him down at TJC, okay? One of the couple of things I learned from my coach, I learned from Coach Daddy Wag and Coach Milstead, say the things that are right, do the things that are right, be a little bit better each day, and surround yourself with good and positive people, and good things will happen in your life. You know what? He was right, okay? I've been blessed. Thank you very much. Right quick, the second year at TJC, we won our regionals. And then we traveled to Hutchinson, Kansas for the National Junior College Athletic Championships, where we came in 14th in the nation. TJC took my man Chester in Lockport, Illinois, and Jerry Ahart in Edwardsville, Illinois. That was our forward centers. We did it all. I also have a ring for that, but it's in my pocket, it kept falling off. But anyway, I must have lost the weight, you know what I mean? From TJC, I finished up at my career at St. Augustine's College, Raleigh, North Carolina, and played in the CIAA tournament in Raleigh and in Greensboro. And we played against colleges like Virginia Union, Virginia State, North Carolina Central, Johnson C. Smith, and most notably, Winston-Salem State University, where I met Coach Clarence Big House Gaines. And he's the guy who coached Earl of Pearl Monroe. Okay, so let's go back that far. I'd like to say, I'd like to thank all the people in my life, man, Mike Jarvis, Larry Stead, Charlie Stead, who's on here, Eddie Washington, who's on here, Warren and Dennis, I couldn't have done it without them. And in closing, I just want to say thank you very much for all the accolades and all the other people who are honored here tonight. Thank you very much.
Great job, Lloyd. Next. Okay. All right, we're down to the final 3 awards. Makes it even 300, so let's hang in there. Next, CRLS coach Linda Tom. Accepting for Linda Tom will be Cheryl Hahn. After coaching girls volleyball at CRLS, Linda went on to establish boys volleyball at CRLS. Quickly, they became one of the premier teams in the state. Her successes included numerous all-scholastics and team championships. Linda also instrumental in implementing the unified sports program in Cambridge that included special ed students in the athletic programs. What a great thing to do. In 2004, Linda was inducted into the Mass Girls Volleyball Coaches Hall of Fame. Cheryl Howe on behalf of Linda Town. Cheryl.
It's an honor to accept this award for Linda posthumously. As many of you know, Linda was a very unusual and gifted woman. I'm tied to her in two ways that are really important to me. I met Linda through volleyball when I was in the high school and got the elementary school program started. So I met Linda and ended up playing volleyball with Linda. We played on teams, and eventually she ended up coming to the high school and coaching there. So that's a very important binder. The other thing is, after she died, I ended up going back and teaching at Cambridge. And I ended up teaching special needs students, the adapted program that she had been working with for many, many years. And it was a really big gift to me. It added a whole new dimension to my teaching career, and I will always thank her for that, so I really appreciate that. She was an outstanding teacher, colleague, coach, and teammate. She loved to compete in anything: golf, tennis, volleyball, and basically any game you could play, cards, tiddlywinks. She had a terrific sense of style. She was a legendary friend, partner, travel companion, and a person who loved life. She loved parties. She threw parties. She made the most of her time here. Linda would have loved to be here. I hope you're watching, Linda.
Slight tip, two more, and then the team. So we're down to the last three now. Edward Sullivan, CRLS. As Eddie comes in. Eddie was one of the most versatile athletes in Cambridge athletic history. Eddie excelled in three sports: football, basketball, and track. In 1980, he was a member of CRLS's state. We need a school principal here. That's what we need. A school principal. Sorry, Eddie. Really sorry. In 1980, he was a member of CRLS's state championship basketball team. In football, his offensive and defensive skills resulted in Ed's being selected to multiple Suburban League All-Star teams, Boston Globe All-Scholastic recognition, and invitation to the prestigious Shriner and Agganis All-Star Games. After high school, Ed had an outstanding football career at the University of Iowa and the University of Mass. Eddie Sullivan.
I'm taking requests for music since I'm on the last one. No, for really, make this real quick, I would like to thank the Hall of Fame committee, and a special thanks to Bill Timmons for the nomination for tonight. I would like to congratulate the inductees, the players, the teams, the coaches, along with the distinguished contributors, Richard Rossi and Paul Ryder. I would also like to give a special acknowledgement to Keith Barnett and Phil Hamilton, which I'm honored to be inducted with these two first-class gentlemen and great football players. And after mentioning those two players, I have to say, why am I here tonight? And I go back and I kept a few articles when I was playing back in high school. And this gentleman, we'll call him Brian, I won't even mention his last name, but he's from Weymouth North High School. And Mike Jarvis, you might remember this game, but I'll read the article that he wrote about our team. When the Cambridge Rings and Latin Cantabs go to a school, any school, to play a basketball game, they don't just go to win.
they put on a show. They are a traveling act of utter entertainment and supply sheer viewer enjoyment. They are a refined basketball circus. Now, Brian was off to a good start in this article, and I actually Googled him. He doesn't live in Weymouth anymore. I was going to give him a ticket to invite him to this tonight. But I'll go on with the article. Even the greatest circuses of the world have flaws in their acts. One basic flaw is Ed Sullivan. And I'm not referring to the late comedian. The person I'm referring to is Cambridge forward, who has combined his minimal amount of talent and maximum amount of strength. And he has made himself into a regular player for Mike Jarvis. Sullivan, whose sole job seems to be to rough up his opponents by using his elbows, his forearms, fists. Now this, I'm reading from the article, and whatnot. It is an insult to the talent which his teammates possess. This gets better. His one and only great ability is his uncanny knowledge in knowing whenever the refs are watching him. His antics appear to be consent by Mike Jarvis. Now, Mike, if he remembers that game, I was a team player, and they were actually trying to do some damage to Mr. Patrick Ewing. And Mike grabbed me at the bench, and he goes, "Sully," he goes, "you can go out there and do whatever you want." I said, "Okay, coach." I said, "Okay, coach." And Brian actually didn't even see one of the better games in Quincy. It was in Cambridge when Kyle Hobbs was going down the middle of the court, and this poor kid didn't see me, and oh my God, he went right down on the floor. And it was great. It was great playing with those guys, Patrick and Kyle Hobbs, and Deere, Kevin Headley. I mean, great. That's family to me. And as I went and traveled through the years in college and so on, I was proud to say it was from Cambridge, and they were my family, and they're my brothers, and I always had their back, and still today. But we love you, early. I'm gonna get a Now I have to thank some great people, great coaches. I'd like to thank George Greenwich, which I hope he's okay. I don't see him here tonight. He's one of the best, all-time best. I mean, he's a man that showed me how to play with passion, emotion, and fun on the field. I mean, G shows all that and more. Anybody who knows his personality.
Oh yeah.
He's one of the all-time best. Coach Bill Timmons, thank you for keeping us in the straight and narrow. Especially Coach G. I can always still hear the words in the locker room or on the bus, and he'll say, "Gee, we can't do that." And you know, we didn't win a lot of games, but I'll tell you, we had tough players. I mean, I even hear through the radio, somebody told me recently that Steve Diossi says, they asked him, who were the toughest players you ever played against? And, you know, he played in the pros and so on. He always say, hey, those guys from Cambridge can hit. I mean, they're tough guys. And that goes for all my team members. Coach Mike Jarvis, thank you for teaching me that you need to study and work hard and have knowledge of the game to win. Nothing comes easy, and you have to be a team player to win. And praise the Lord, Mike. There he is. Coach Mack, if you're competing against Cambridge on the track, his words will say, we're going to kick your ass, and I'll tell you right in your face, we're going to kick your ass. And that's Coach Mack's confidence that he had all his team members and players and so on. I wanted to say thanks for the legendary Doc Linsky, Tom Curtin, Doc Kearns, for keeping me in one piece, but for caring for all of us, most of us in the room today. Doc Kearns telling me my junior year I had a medical issue that was serious. And he goes, maybe you might not be able to play. I told Doc, you better become a lawyer and not a doctor because I'm playing. He listened to me. I would like to thank all the teammates I had, especially Chris and Phil Carey. And, if you didn't hear them tonight. Goes back to the grammar school days, the Purple People Eaters, the last tackle football, the last championship football team, tackle football in 8th grade. We won it back in the day, the Purple People Eaters in Longfellow School. There you go. And I'd also like to follow up with thanking especially my parents who both passed, especially my mother, which I luckily got her genes. My mother was a Powers, and she had 4 brothers, and they were all over 5'4" versus the Sullivan side. And my Uncle Ralph Powers, who was inducted last year to the 1938 Rinch hockey team, which he was a great athlete, which he went on to play at BC, but not only that, he went on to the Navy. He was an aviator. He was in the end of World War II, and then he was also a pilot in Vietnam. And then he after that, he was a state trooper, and he went to law school and became a lawyer. I mean, this guy, you can make a movie out of this guy. And he was, I would say, one of my heroes. Special thanks. A special thanks to my brother Billy, who many of you people know. I would say he would be my personal trainer. If I didn't do it, he'd basically kick my ass. And I'll never forget, actually half the coaching staff from Iowa and Hayden Fry were in my living room. And they were trying to get me to go to school there, which I did. But my brother comes out and said, hey, we can do a package deal. And he starts doing one-arm push-ups on the floor. And they go, who is this guy? And he's down in Myrtle Beach, and he's living down in South Carolina. I thank my sister Patty, who's here tonight. And to say, I know we want to get tonight over, but time flies, and as it goes by, and the way I look at it, I have 3 trophies, and I'm honored to have and to hold in my life, and that would be my wife and my son and daughter. So, and geez, that would make Siobhan a trophy wife. Geez, I'll be lucky. And I'm so proud of my daughter Claire, who graduated from Holy Cross and played basketball for the Crusaders out there. He will be heading off to business school soon, hopefully. And my son Eddie, who graduated from Lehigh, was an engineer. But I'd really like to say thank you, everybody, and I appreciate it. And God bless, and have a great night. Thanks.
Okay. So the time count is still Stephanie Darden. Stephanie Darden is among the best athletes to wear an athletic uniform in Cambridge. A 4-year starter on her basketball team. She led her team to the Division I state title in 01 and 02. To this day, Stephanie holds the school scoring record with 1,356 points. For 3 years at CRLS, she was MVP of her basketball team, league MVP in Boston Globe and Herald All Scholastic. Stephanie went on to a terrific basketball career at the University of Bridgewood. Stephanie Darden. Stephanie.
I'm gonna try to keep this short and sweet. Thank you for saving the best for last. I just want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for selecting me. Congratulations to everybody else who was inducted. Thanks to my former coaches, Leslie Davis, Dana, Mark Brathwaite, Dan, Salazar, even Lance Dotton, for giving me great advice and, pushing me through and making me more than just an athlete, but also a great individual. I just want to thank my family, friends. There's a lot of y'all to thank. I ain't going individually. To my parents, my brother DeJuan, my cousins, my aunt Steph, my grandmother Cecilia. There's so many of y'all. To my other mother, Mommy Maria, Beatrice, to Star, may she continue to rest in peace. Thank you for all the love and support. And last but not least, to my man Carlos Rivera, thank you for supporting me since 3rd grade. Came all the way down here from Cali, man. I love y'all, man. Thank you very much.
This is it, the last one. 1996 CRLS boys volleyball team. Please come up to the left, please come up to the left. The 1996 boys volleyball team, led by Hall of Famer coach Maria DiClemente, had a season record of 21 and 1. Please.
I'm going up there now. Yeah.
Please have a little quiet.
Get the hell out of the way.
Using a combination of hustle, teamwork, and focus, the team captured its first ever state title in 1996. Guided by 3 All-Scholastics, the Cambridge boys volleyball team snapped perennial powerhouse New Bedford's 72-game win streak in the state final.
Yeah!
It was a total team effort exhibited by the magnificent spirit and athleticism. I'm going to ask Coach DiClemente to come up and say a few words and announce the team. Maria?
Thanks very much. As Richie said, I was fortunate enough to be inducted in the Hall of Fame a few years back. I am actually going to turn this over to my captains from the that 96 team, Marcel Perret, Tim Henley, and Chuck Stanley, but we'll definitely announce the rest of the squad.
Thanks everybody for your patience. This is an amazing team, just confirmed by seeing each other tonight. Just an amazing experience, amazing friends. On behalf of the team, we're honored to be receiving a place in the Cambridge Athletic Hall of Fame, and we want to thank the committee for recognizing the team.
We set a goal, and we are grateful to our families, coaches, and fans that helped us see that goal out. We cannot stress the leadership and influence of our coachman's team. Without you, without your vision, we would not have achieved this momentous win.
The lessons we learned on and off the court helped us with our future success. Learning that the journey is just as important as the destination. This is a very diverse team with a variety of strengths and interests that came together to win Cambridge's first boys state championship. So thank you again, and we are honored to be a part of this amazing group of people.
few players, unfortunately, that weren't available tonight to make it to this event. There were Edson D'Souza, Neil Katagather, and Pushong Aramphon. Here with us tonight, Chuck Stanley, Marcel Perret, Tim Henry. I couldn't have done this without assistant coach Don Spellman. We also have Claudio Venturini, Miscal Del Sant, Kathleen Julian, and Christian Little. You know, it's funny, I still refer to these guys as my boys, but they're in their 40s, and you know, I was a very young coach. But I do want to say thank you to the families that supported us along the way, and all the friends and fans that helped us to this momentous occasion. And thank you so much for this honor and award. We really appreciate it.